If you showed up to a party wearing the world's largest Santa cap, would people remember you? And if they saw you again in a couple of weeks, would they think, oh, that's a different dude with a big Santa cap? No, they'd say, oh, that's that dude with the Santa cap. That's a unique selling proposition. I'm Deacon Nick. Ho, ho, ho. Saint Nick. Ha! I'm Deacon Nick, and I want to talk about a unique selling proposition and why you, as a creator, should have a unique selling proposition. The one reason that you have for people to come back to you. So, we're going to talk about what is a unique selling proposition, how you can be different in creating that selling proposition, how to create it, and then we're going to talk about some examples and get you set straight. Um, First off, it's also known as a USP, right? What's a USP? It's something that it's literally been used in marketing probably for 100 years. I mean, as long as there's been marketing, people have been teaching you need a unique selling proposition. And I'm sure you've heard of a lot of the things that define it, or you've learned, or you're doing a lot of things that define what a unique selling proposition is, or a USP. Um, but maybe you haven't heard it referred to as that. But so it's been used in marketing forever. It's what clearly defines why someone should choose you to watch in your niche instead of someone else in the same niche, right? Uh, or why should they watch you instead of every other creator in your space? And it's like a specific value that you deliver that others don't, or maybe you deliver it in a little bit different way, right? For creators or influencers, a USP, it's not about being louder. It's not about going viral. It's about being distinct and being memorable in, let's face it, in a really crowded marketplace, right? Um, at the core, USP it mainly answers the question, why you? Why should you be the guy that they tune into when they're learning about whatever? And so it's not why your niche, it's not why the platform, but it's why your voice. What about your voice or your perspective or your content makes you different? Um, two creators, they can cover the same topic. I mean, there's probably 1,000, maybe 10,000 creators that talk about food and cosmetics and all kinds of stuff, gaming. Um, but the one with a clear USP stands out because they bring either a unique style or a unique angle, a unique process, maybe a unique experience, maybe a unique delivery, whatever it is that audiences and brands understand. Um, for influencers, a USP, it's like I said, brands. It's also what makes a brand comfortable in paying you. They don't just buy reach, they buy outcomes. When someone pays you to, sponsors you, they're not just looking, well, we want to get their 20,000 people to see our ad. No, they want your 20,000 people to see you talk about it, to see the ad or whatever it might be, but then to take some action. They're looking for an outcome. They're looking to sell something. They're looking to get a visit to their store, a visit to their site, or whatever it might be. And a USP, it tells brands exactly what they're getting when they work with you. So a lot of it is being either different or memorable, or ideally both, right? Um, I know the Santa hat is kind of goofy, but what if you went to, I don't know, you went to a club, right? You're out partying on a Friday night and you saw a dude wearing a top hat. You'd remember that guy, right? If you saw him again, if you went down the street, or maybe you came back the next night and the guy was there again in a top hat, you say, oh yeah, it's that guy with the top hat. Um, and maybe that doesn't define who he is or what he offers. It's different seeing someone in public than seeing somebody online. But that's the mindset that we want to help you develop. It's like the heart of your offer. It's the value that you bring, or the problem you solve. Uh, I know all social media, all creators aren't solving problems, right? But a lot of them are. But it's whatever the reason is that your people are there to see you, it's enhancing that to make people come back and see you again, and to like, and especially to share, right? It articulates a specific benefit that you bring that others don't, that makes you stand out. So I guess the bottom line is it shows why you or your channel is worth following. Uh, Being different, being memorable as a creator, it's not really, like I said before, it's not really about going viral. It's not trying to always be louder or trendier or goofier or more extreme, unless that's your thing. But it's your intention. It's being intentionally recognizable, doing something that makes people remember you for whatever reason they want to remember you. Right? And everyone's a little bit different, right? Like you could look at two channels, two huge big channels, let's say in gaming, and both creators might be talking about the same game. But one of you might do it differently than the other. And there's some people that'll follow you for whatever reason, and some people that'll follow the other guy for whatever reason. Um, but in a crowded feed, people remember creators who feel familiar, who are clear, and most importantly, consistent. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do everything the same all the time, but maybe consistency in your attitude, consistency in your delivery, consistency in your thumbnails, whatever it might be. Memorability comes from repetition of either a unique idea. So when it's not, repetition doesn't come from constant reinvention, right? It's from people. First, they need to know, like, and trust you. Then they need to know that they're going to get the same thing they followed you for in the first place when they come back and when they visit again. One of the strongest ways to stand out is to own a specific point of view on whatever, whatever your niche is, whatever your topic is. A lot of creators share information, but the popular ones, the bigger ones, usually take a stance, right? They're willing to, whatever their opinion is, whatever their angle is, they're willing to defend it. And sometimes it's even what sometimes even when people disagree with you, that could be your stance. Maybe you have a contrarian stance. You're arguing, the status quo is one thing, right? But you're arguing against that status quo. And that could be your USP, right? She's the girl that always tells us not to wear foundation or whatever it is. That might be ridiculous. I don't know. I don't wear a lot of foundation. But sometimes your message could be contrary. It could go totally against the grain, and that could be your USP. That could be the one reason people come back over and over again to check you out. And like I said, consistency is important too. And consistency, it could be your tone, your pacing, your visual style, your content structure. When someone could recognize it's you or your channel without seeing your name, that's when you know you've got a USP started. There's some unique selling proposition that's bringing people back to you. Because familiar concepts, people are comfortable when they say this, when they see the same thing over again, something that they like, and they're comfortable with it. Then they become familiar with it, and then they become a fan or a follower. And it builds loyalty too. Comfort builds loyalty. They say opposites attract, and your niche makes all the difference, depending what it is you're selling, what it is your channel talks about. They say opposites attract, but most people really want to hang with people that have something in common with them. And that has to do with us too, right? With influencers, with creators. We tend to attract people who have similar views as us. Certain, like I'm an older dude, right? Not that old. I figure I still got about 40 years, but I might be more likely to have people follow me that are closer to my age. Maybe not, right? It depends on the niche, but so basically memorable creators also focus on one core transformation. People like, if you could change, what I mean by transformation, if what you do helps somebody make a decision, or unless it's just entertainment, right? And again, there's so many different aspects of social media. If people are only there because they dig listening to you, they want to hear you talk, maybe you're funny, maybe you make music, maybe you do something that is a specific field and it's hard to do, so people come to see you do that. But in a lot of cases, so much of social media is teaching. People are there to learn something, to get better at something, to do something. Um, I still think, and this is unrelated, but I still think 65%, 70% of your content should be entertaining. People want to see something they like, right? They want to be entertained before they want to be taught. But I think the second most important thing after entertaining people is teaching, right? Most of us do teach something. So if you could help people, they say shift happens. But if you could help people with a good transformation, transform them in some way that benefits them, even if it's just when they're done watching you, they're happier, right? But if you can give some type of transformation, that could be your unique sales proposition. And we're going to talk about really specific things in a bit. But so maybe instead of trying to help with everything, a creator becomes known for solving one particular problem. Man, I can't talk today. If a creator helps solve one particular problem consistently, right, or exceptionally well, and it's always, I say, when you're building, when you're growing, and you can see this when you check out the biggest, the biggest creators out there. Most of them solve one problem for one specific type of people. And I'll make another video about that in another time. But basically, if you know I help these people do this, that helps you to start creating your unique sales proposition, unique selling proposition, your USP. Because it makes your content easier to associate with the result, and results are really what people remember, right? They remember what have you done for me lately? You hear that all the time. So, and finally, I think the most memorable creators, they're not afraid to be themselves, even if it's imperfect. There's kind of a shift going on in social media, in influence, where the perfect video isn't as popular. I don't say isn't. It depends how good you are at whatever it is you're doing. But perfection isn't rewarded like it used to be. Nowadays, people are attracted to imperfection. They're attracted to people that are just more real and more like them, right? So sometimes personality quirks and just honest opinions, they create an emotional connection. And if your USP can create an emotional connection with your fans, with your followers, that gives you an advantage. Maybe that's your USP. This guy's real. I dig him because he's real. That could be, maybe that's your unique selling proposition. I just don't. I don't think people remember polished, perfect content as much as they remember how a creator made them feel. And in a lot of cases, it's that emotional imprint that makes them come back. They want to feel that way again. It's like sometimes you have a teacher you really like at school, right? When you're in school. And they don't teach you any better than maybe another teacher, but you like the interaction. You like the way you feel. You like the way they teach more than what they teach. And that makes you, I won't say it makes you come back, but it makes them your favorite teacher. It's the same thing with influencers. Here's a great, this might give you an example. I'm going to give you some specific examples later. I'll give you an example about gaming. We'll talk about food, like if you're a foodie influencer, we'll talk a little bit about cosmetics. But one of the biggest USPs in history, and most of you are probably too young to remember when this actually happened, but I'm sure you've heard it, is this. If I say this, you tell me, what company am I talking about? Hot, fresh pizza delivered to your door in 30 minutes or your money back. Who am I talking about? Hot, fresh pizza delivered to your door in 30 minutes or your money back. I'm talking about Domino's. And I don't know if they do it anymore. But that used, when they first came, not when they first came out, but when they first ballooned. I mean, when Domino's blew up, I'm talking about the 80s, maybe the 70s. when Domino's first came out with that USP, hot, fresh pizzas delivered to your door in 30 minutes or it's free, they blew up all over the country, especially in college towns. And they recognized that. Now they started opening Domino's in all the college towns, right? Because college kids, they don't have a lot of money, obviously. But this blew them up. This put Domino's on the national map for pizza delivery places. And if they didn't, you'd be standing at your door, it's 27 minutes. But if they didn't have it there in 30 minutes, they give you the pizza, it's free, right? So that was their unique selling proposition. That's what made Domino's huge. And they just basically found a unique idea that solved the problem, and it gave people a benefit, a reason to order from them instead of ordering from the other guy. And it's the same thing with what we do, right? Give people a reason to come back to your channel next time, or you next time, instead of someone else who's talking about the same thing. So let's talk a little bit about how to develop a USP. Sometimes they come right to you. You just get this great idea. Some of you are probably thinking right now, "Oh shit, I know what my USP is," and maybe you've already had people tell you, "I follow you for this," or "I like you because of that," right? You probably have. Maybe you never considered it as a USP or thought about it as a USP, but that's what it is. It's a unique selling proposition. It's what brings people back to your channel over and over and over again. So how do you do it? To develop a USP as a creator, you want to start looking at, it's really an intersection of three things. There's three things that you want to think about. What are you good at? First, right? What does your audience want? And the third leg of the tripod is, what will brands pay for if you're doing sponsorships? Like, I know creators that don't want to do sponsorships. They turn them down. They don't even answer emails. People want to throw money at them and they don't want it, but for whatever reasons, right? But so those are the three things you're looking at. What are you good at? Like, what can you show people? And it doesn't mean what you can fix or what you can do. A lot of times it's just the way you deliver. People, you're funny, or you're just great looking. Whatever it is. Especially you guys out there, I'm sure you watch some girl influencers just because they're hot. So what are you good at? What does your audience want? And finally, what do brands want? Consider all three when you're building your USP. Pay close attention to which platform works best for you. I won't say that's a USP, but that's one of the things you should be considering, right? The platform you're on kind of reveals sometimes what people already associate you with. A USP, as you're deciding what to do, it shouldn't force a new identity. You shouldn't change. You shouldn't get a good idea. Oh, I think this is what people want, so I'm gonna be a chameleon and I'm gonna start doing it this way. Amplify what you're already good at. Amplify what's already working for you. And don't, I read an article the other day about a knitting influencer who makes like 50 grand a month. So don't think I'm in too small of a niche. There's billions of people that log on every day. Do what's good for you. You hear the expression, you be you. That's what you need to do. Do what's good for you. And then pay close attention to the content that's already performing best for you, because that kind of reveals what people associate with you. Analyze it. Look at your best posts. Look at your posts or your videos with the most shares. Don't look at it from your point of view. Look at it from your fans' point of view, from your followers' point of view. Try to figure out what they associate with you. Again, because your USP should amplify what's already working. It shouldn't make you change directions. What else? Oh, identify what makes you unique, what makes your approach unique. And, it can be your background, this kind of background, or it could be your background, your life history, right? What have you done before that makes you special? It could be the tone of your voice. It could be your storytelling style. It could be so many things, right? Your production method, the specific problem you help solve. For example, instead of just being a fitness creator, I talk about fitness. Maybe your USP is, I help parents get results in 20 minutes a day, or whatever it is. I help senior citizens. I'll tell you something funny, but I help senior citizens exercise at home. Maybe that's your USP, right? You should be able to say, I help so and so do this, and then add your USP, right? I help toddlers get back up after they fall. I know that's not a good example for obvious reasons, but the thing I was going to say, I have this as I get older, and I don't consider myself old yet, but something that really bugs me. If I ever end up on my ass, I don't ever want to have one of my son-in-laws come over here and help me up off the floor, right? So maybe that's a niche. I teach old people how to get up off the floor when they fall. It's probably not a good one, but I watch it. In the past, I've had to go to like relatives and help them up off elderly and help them up off the floor. And I never want, especially my three son-in-laws. It wouldn't take all three, but I don't ever want to ask my son-in-law to come over to my house and get my ass up off the floor. So, but okay. And anyway, I go off. But anyway, you should be able to articulate your unique selling proposition in really clear, simple language. You should be able to summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences. And this is also like a guide to making your profile, right? Your profile should say exactly who you serve, how you serve them, and then add something, to make yourself unique, for your followers. And like I said before, for brands. It could be in your bio, it could be in your pitch emails, your media kit, any themes, your content themes. But you basically answer the who I help and how question. I help starving artists by showing them how to sell bad pictures to good people, or whatever it might be, and then how you do it. I help so-and-so do this in this way. Myron Golden, for the longest time, his USP was the easiest way to make money is selling to rich people. Now that doesn't follow the same, I help so-and-so do this way, but it's the same thing. I help online digital marketers make money by selling to old people. I mean, rich people. I'm getting old. And some examples. Let's go over some good examples. Vanessa Lau, right? I'm sure many of you are familiar with Vanessa Lau. Her USP is she teaches simple systems to grow an online business by using content. So what's the USP? She teaches creators and coaches how to turn content into predictable income using simple systems. She teaches creators how to use content to make money, basically. So in a way, her USP is about clarity and systems, right? It's about being clear and having a system to get the result. So, and the good thing about this is her USP, it attracts both creators and brands that are targeting entrepreneurs. So it makes her monetize. She can make money in different ways, through courses, through sponsorships, through partners. Someone who I follow a lot, I think the woman is brilliant. I could say the girl because I'm old enough to be her grandpa. Well, maybe not her grandpa, but Maria Wendt. If you've ever listened to Maria Wendt, she basically, she turns creators into profitable brands using short content. Now, I mean, she teaches them how to use short content. Now, she also now has middle and high-end content that she sells, but her millions have come from her selling low ticket offers, not low content. But she has made her millions by teaching internet marketers, us influencers, how to create low ticket offers. So her USP is teaching creators how to monetize their audience with low ticket offers and by using personal branding and confidence-driven marketing. And Maria, she isn't just teaching growth. She's really teaching income and identity, right? Her content focuses on helping creators position themselves as experts and not just content producers. you know, position yourself as an expert to sell low ticket items. She makes $700,000-800,000 a month selling $27 ebooks and $27 programs and that type of thing. You love Maria if you've ever listened to her. Maria Wendt, Wendt. This is something I could talk about forever, but I don't want to get too long. But a few things to concentrate on. Be authentic. People know when you're trying to bullshit them, right? So be authentic. Your USP should reflect your genuine passion and creativity. Basically, stay in your lane, right? Do what you know how to do. People can tell if you're faking it. And that pisses me off nowadays. You know, I saw someone the other day teaching people how to make money online, and her whole pitch was, or not her pitch, her solution was have AI create a how-to product. Even if you're not an expert, just go to AI and have AI talk about how to make chicken coops. If you've never sold, I don't care if you've never built a chicken coop in your life, go to AI, have AI write a program on how to build chicken coops, and then get online, tell people you're the expert, and sell how to make chicken coops. I got a real bad taste in my mouth about all that. I feel if you're selling a course, you should be able to write that course from what's up here, not have AI write it. But again, I'm going down that road when I should be on this road. So anyway, be authentic, keep it clear. Make sure your message is simple, easy to understand. Always pretend you're talking to third graders. If a third grader couldn't understand it, it's too complicated, right? Unless you're like, teaching rocket scientists how to build rocket fuel or something like that. Just make sure your niche, make sure your audience understands what you're talking about. Oh, hell, just always act like you're talking to a third grader, right? So be authentic, keep it clear, be consistent. Your consistency should be, your USP should be reflected in everything in everything in the same way. In other words, your graphics should be consistent. Don't use the same picture and everything, but they should be similar. Your thumbnail should be similar. Like everything, people should be able to see a thumbnail, and even if your picture's not in it, know that it's you. Otherwise, people might be looking for you, and if they can't recognize it by your thumbnail, if you're on YouTube, you're going to lose a click. People aren't going to watch it because they can't recognize it. So, and let your USP evolve over time. Like I said, I gave the example before of Domino's. I don't know if that's their USP anymore. Delivered to your door in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. But maybe that's evolved, and I guess I should have looked at Domino's marketing and studied it a little bit more before I made the video. But that's just what I always remember. Whenever I think of USP, I just think back, God, that was the greatest. And but let your USP evolve. Let it change as you change, but stay true to the core, right? Some examples, some just off the top of my head. Food, right? Let's come up with the USP for food. And affordable meals for working parents in 20 minutes or less, right? That's a good USP. If you're a foodie, what's your thing, right? I teach working parents how to come home from work and whip up a great meal at a great price in 20 minutes. That would be a good USP for food. Gaming, which I am. If any of you are playing Marvel Rivals right now, give me a shout. Let's play. But anyway, gaming. I help casual gamers win without all the grind, right? I mean, you're playing, if you're a casual gamer and you're playing online games against other people, at least you're playing against these sweaty guys that are putting in 12 hours a day, and you're like, how the hell can I compete? I get blasted. Anyway, that's your good USP for a gamer, right? I help casual gamers get good without all the time and without all the practice. That would be a good USP for a gamer. Makeup. Maybe I shouldn't talk about makeup because I don't have a lot of experience. Although I do have my own makeup kit. I've done a good amount of theater, and we all have to bring our own makeup. But anyway, I teach people. I teach I teach young adult, I teach teenagers, I show teenagers how to apply makeup for real life, not for online, not for on camera, right? Maybe that could be a niche for someone who's in the makeup industry. It might not be a good one. If you're in the makeup business, you know, you're a makeup creator, you know better than I do. But, you know, I show teenagers how to put on makeup for real life, not for on screen. Because obviously you put on a lot more makeup when you're being videoed and stuff like that. I think it wasn't a good one for me, right? But remember this: you want to solve one problem for one person. And when I say one person, I don't mean one person. You want more than that. But you want to solve one problem. You want people to know, what is this guy about? That has to be part of the USB. And you got to solve it for one niche. You got to know who your target is. And the way we teach it, like the way I teach it to businesses, or when a business hires me to do their marketing, I have them answer all these questions because I need to learn who their avatar is, who their perfect customer is, who is the person you're selling to, right? Like one of my clients is a tool rental company. So I need to learn, you know, they basically sell to two types of people. They sell to contractors they rent to contractors who don't use a tool often enough to spend the money on it, but they still need it. So contractors, and then do-it-yourself homeowners is the other guy. But whoever your target is, know who that target is. A great thing you could do is put out a poll, right? Do a survey, do a poll to find out as much as you can about your perfect target, your perfect follower, your perfect fan. Because once you know who your perfect fan is, and sometimes it'll surprise you. It's not going to be who you think it is off the top of your head, you know. So maybe have a contest or something. I want to find out who my people are. Go to this website, answer these 4 questions, and I'm going to give whatever, you know. I'm going to give a Domino's pizza to 10 people or something like that. Make it a thing, right? But come up with some way to find out who your people are, who your fans and followers are. Because then you can, you know, you make your content to target that person, right? So a great USP can really mean the difference between being lost in the crowd in all the, you know, the whole ocean of other people that talk about what you talk about, or standing as a solo guy in the spotlight. Keep in mind the top hat thing, right? If you saw a guy in a bar wearing a top hat, and you saw that same guy in a bar, in a different bar next week wearing a top hat, you'd remember, oh, it's that guy. And when you saw him for another time, you know, you saw him walking down the street, oh, it's the guy from the bar with the top hat, right? That's who you need to become. You need to determine, are you the guy in the top hat? Are you just one of the other 100 guys in the bar that nobody would ever remember, or nobody would think twice about? Be careful creating your identity. You'll attract fans, but you'll also grow a community that resonates with your vision, and will even fight battles on your behalf. Again, I'm Deacon Nick. I hope this has been helpful. I had fun stumbling over my words making it. So I hope you'd enjoy it. Until next time, if you need help, ask for it. If you don't, prove it. See you around. Now, where's my hat?